Hello, hello, hello. This is the Celeste guide. Celeste is finally here. She was the character I was basically most excited about. Look at her, bro. She's a unicorn. Look at her little crouch. And look at this dash. Cartwheel into a whole split and a sparkle. Bro, she has pizzazz. And her melee's a unicorn charge. Like, what is this? Quick melee just hits with the staff. And her reload is also really cool. She throws her baton up and then it comes back. It's so sick. Her gun, also very unique. It has bouncing projectiles, which is lovely. And it body shots for... Ooh, that was a headshot, I think. Body shots for 31. 32. Body shots between 31 and 32. And it looks like a headshot is either 47 or 48. 47, 47, 48. Gets only one bounce too. And it looks like the headshot is like very generous. Like that count. Wait, what? It can pierce. Is that what I'm seeing? It's piercing there. Oh yeah, it bounces off of the enemies too. It's kind of bouncing back towards me. So like you can pierce it. That's super interesting. Okay, her first ability is Light Eater. She blasts in a cone in front of her, dealing spirit damage and lifesteal of that spirit damage. And then once they're hit by the cone, every single bullet you hit on them for the next 12 seconds does an extra spirit damage. So you hit them, cone in front of you, and now we're dealing spirit damage and we're lifestealing, which is crazy. And the upgrades are on this. You can take it from a 20-second cooldown to a 10. You can get a bigger cast range, more spirit lifesteal, which is kind of good. And then damage and spirit scaling. How much is that? It goes from, what was that? 23 to 43. So you get an extra, 0.2 spirit scaling, which isn't horrible. And it'll look like this on max damage. Pretty nice. I mean, you can definitely do some fun things on this character. And I think you can hit multiple people in a row and then bounce it. Yep, I hit the guy behind and I'm still hitting the other guy behind. Yeah, she's feeling like a beast. Okay, now her second ability is Dazzling Trick. 35-second cooldown, so kind of long. And basically, it'll give you move speed, it'll give you a barrier, and the barrier after 4 seconds will explode, silencing and dealing 50% of the damage of the health of that barrier. So on level 1, her barrier's health is 135. So it'll be doing about like 160, 170, or sorry, 60 or 70 damage. And it's in a 15 meter radius, which is kind of big. So if I use this, we get a barrier, so a little bit of health. And then when it runs out, what the hell? Oh, it has to get destroyed by somebody. So let's make this Inferno follow us. So I'm going to hit 2 and then take control of Infernus and break the barrier just so we can see the explosion. So if I use my barrier on Celeste and then take control of this Infernus and break the barrier, it'll pop around her and silence everybody for a little bit. So pretty strong, and it gets more interesting with her upgrades. So her first upgrade gives her more move speed, a bigger barrier, and more barrier scaling. It goes from 1.1 to 1.8, so you get an extra 0.7 scaling, and it becomes a pretty decent barrier at this point. But then her last increase into this is where it becomes interesting, because you get plus 2 seconds to the silent duration, and it reduces the cooldown by 18 seconds, but also it allows Shining Wonder bounces, which we won't understand what that means, but it is her ultimate, and her ultimate looks beautiful. So we'll see how that interacts once we get to the ultimate. Her third ability is Radiant Daggers, which is also a pretty good ability. It calls down daggers from the sky in like a big zone, and then after like a second or two, it will explode and then deal spirit damage and give us spirit amp per stack. And we get a stack for each person it hits. So if I were to use it over here, it would spawn daggers, hit this guy, and then I would get 1 stack. So right now I have 8% spirit amp, and your horn starts to glow, which is a nice little thing you get. So if I hit all of these and get plus 3 stacks, My horn becomes even sparkly, and now obviously it's 8 times 4 for my spirit amp. So if I were to use like my 1, now our spirit damage is actually crazy, and just with a few bullets we are killing people. And you can keep this up so long as the duration doesn't fully run out before you hit another one. So we're at 6 and my horn's at full juice. It's a good way to understand and visualize that she's in big damage for spirit now. Like, I do crazy spirit damage. This ability does have a 30-second cooldown, but it has a 2-second cooldown between uses. So when you put 1 more point into it, you get 3 charges on this ability. So you can basically keep this up for as long as you want, sort of, and then become very, very busted. And then her second point into this gives her cooldown and more impact damage. So instead of 30 seconds, 18. Really, really nice. And then we can get more spirit amp and fire rate. So if I put this into this, we get 6 times 6 fire rate as long as I don't drop it, which I did. Amazing. Let me get all stacks back and then 1 and just delete these people. And don't forget, we can hit through people. Cleaving is a thing. You can just absolutely delete with the spirit gun. But now we are finally at her ult, Shining Wonder. And basically what it does is it lobs a big one of her projectiles, one of her little bouncy balls. It shoots a big one that bounces from target to target up to 8 times on base, that deals 130 damage each time and gives them a slow and a slower dash distance. So it'll look like this. You hit 4, hits that one, and boom, it just bounces. And you can see who it's targeting. 8 bounces, 130 damage times 8. It is pretty nice. Now, the reason that the dazzling trick becomes really interesting is because if you hit her ultimate on just a single person, it still stays around them for the entire duration. But unless they get near somebody, unless they get within 17 meters, it's not going to bounce. But with her shield, you can hit her 4, and then you can shield and use yourself as a bounce target. Now this will lower the amount of bounces that the enemies get hit for by half, but it's still really good. Like, I'm sure I could hit 4, hit 2, bring the bounce over to the more enemies, and then it's not on me, because I think it should prioritize enemies. Now her upgrades on her ultimate give her the person that gets hit even slower and less dash distance, and then more damage, and then plus 10 bounces and reduced cooldown. So now this is bouncing 18 times. You just let this rip. And it is so funny. Get in there with your with your shield, and it just bounces and bounces without end. So she has a bunch of beautiful things. You can choose to keep this up forever and play with her 1 and just deal spirit damage out the wazoo, or you could play with her ultimate and just bounce everything back and forth. And that's my friends how you play Celeste. It's still going. Yeah, that ability's crazy. Well, good luck and have fun out there with Celeste. I know I am.